Oh goodness. Catherine, what's up? Midnight, what's up? I'm watching Max right now. I get it, dude. I think there's some tornadoes on the ground. I get it. I get it. Large ray. Yeah, there's naders afoot. Many naders. South Dakota, I reckon, something like that. August, what's up? Sorry, I'm still trying to get everything set up here. I apologize. Hmm. How do I fix this? I'm doing good, Catherine. Thank you for asking. Doing good. I need to edit this. Good, 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 good. Copy, paste. Always forget to do this before I go live. Paste, save. I think I did it. I'm a big boy. Catherine, I'm glad you're doing good. What are we gonna react to? I'm not sure just yet. I was I had zero game plan. Imagine that. Guy on the internet goes live with no game plan. I was kind of wanting to watch some more Overcast, the YouTube channel Overcast. He does really good work and doesn't get. Can you guys hear me okay, or am I too low? I'm only here to fall asleep to this. I get it, bro. I get it. Get you some sleep, Marge. Overcast. Okay, I was hoping I didn't have it down too low. See, one of these days I'm gonna do this before stream, so that the first 30 minutes isn't me skimming through everything. Professional. Absolute professional. Catherine, how was your TikTok stream stuff? Deadliest tornadoes in U.S. history? Is that what we're going to start off with? I guess I'll need my headset for that. I guess we could start off with that. Yeah, man, Overcast, uh, he does really good work, man. He puts a lot of effort into these videos. A lot of effort. Dude, I need to get that glare off my screen. All right, one final check before I do this. Ah, I see. There was indeed one more thing I needed to do. Boom. Save. I think I screwed that up. No, I didn't. Oh, okay, now I'm good. You watch some of his vids. He makes really good stuff. Switch. Yeah, it's correct. Have you seen the 2010 Millberry F4 video? No, I don't think I have. I don't think I have. We could watch that vid next. Yeah, I'd be game. I'd be game. Dude, it's Monday. Who'd have thought that I would be streaming on a Monday? I feel like if any day, Mondays would probably be the worst to stream to. Work. Everyone's tired. The 10 deadliest tornadoes in U.S. history. I need to get me some, like, just some earpiece.
Nowhere in the world are tornadoes more common than in the United States. Every year, thousands of tornadoes touch down and terrorize the American heartland.
I think one of the storm chasers got their window broken by debris. What, like just now or in this video? I know a lot of people were up in arms over Brandon. Oh no, what's his name? Last name? Brandon something. He was in South Dakota yesterday and got that picture like up close with a tornado outside of his car. I thought it was awesome. But yeah, so some people didn't think so. Some people were quite angry at our boy.
Causing millions upon millions of dollars in damage and killing dozens of people. They're ingrained within the culture and folklore of this land. Their depictions in TV, film, and literature are plentiful. Native American myths and legends, such as that of the dead man walking, still strike fear into those who hear them, even.
I love that picture from the Gerald tornado. Absolutely crazy. Brandon, is it Kopic? Kopic? Yeah, that's who it was, though, August. I thought that was a real good photo. Don't know the spelling? Fair enough. They got their window busted out. Scary, dude. Hey, chasing's dangerous, man. And not only that, just in general, like chasing, storm chasing, you're gonna get your window busted a lot. Oh, I shouldn't say a lot. It just depends on where you need to drive, what position you want to get in. It's part of the game. Part of the game. Especially if you want to maybe try to get ahead of it or something. Insurance, baby. What's up, Tommy? Tommy, how was work with no sleep?
Today. Yet, not all tornadoes are made equal. Some are weak, practically harmless as they dance about in open farm fields, doing no damage, hurting nobody. Yet others often prove to be much more destructive. Massive, mile-wide walls of darkness, consuming everything in sight, ripping skin off of cattle, tearing bark off of trees, leaving foot-deep trenches in the ground they traverse.
Wait, wasn't it Philadelphia that left like a 2-foot trench in the ground. Bulletproof glass. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a good idea. I don't know how. Doesn't the Dominator use bulletproof glass for their windshield? I don't know how well that would be to see out of, but I mean, it keeps you safe for the most part. I mean, there's nothing you can really do, right, with like a softball sized hill falling out of the sky. But I'd say for like your smaller bits, it would have to be pretty good. Lexinglass? Yeah. What's up, Haven? How you doing? Haven says hi YouTube, by the way. Everybody on the YouTube side.
Erasing entire towns from existence. These are the monster tornadoes. The violent F4s and F5s that border on unsurvivable. These are the 10 deadliest tornadoes in U.S. history.
I hate to hear that, Tommy. Sorry to hear that, dude. That's tough. "2011 Philadelphia? Yeah. I knew it was like 2, 3 feet. Or something like that. That's actually like insane to think about. 3 feet down. And it was like 100 meters, nearly 100 meters long, 3 feet deep.
On the evening of June 8th, 1953, a large and exceptionally violent F5 tornado tore through the northern side of Flint, Michigan. This tornado flattened hundreds of homes in the city and
Not too long ago, I asked if Michigan got a lot of tornadoes, and I completely forgot about Flint, Michigan.
its suburb of Beecher, killing 160 individuals along its nearly 19-mile-long path. In the 1950s, the U.S. lacked the tornado warning system that it currently has. As a result, those in Flint and Beecher had little to no advanced warning of the approaching twister, only taking shelter when they were able to lay eyes on the massive vortex as it bore down on them. A crowded drive-in movie theater near Flint was showing a film as the twister approached. Panicked theatergoers quickly fled the scene in their cars, many getting into accidents or inadvertently driving right into the tornado's path, contributing to the high death toll. The theater itself suffered only minor damage. To this day, the tornado remains the deadliest in Michigan's history.
So Flint, Michigan. Wow. I want to see some of these photos again. Hold on.
Hundreds of homes in the city.
Dang. Are those trenches in the first damage photo? This one? Okay, there's this one, this one, this one.
When
I
they were
don't
able
think
to
so.
lay eyes on the map.
Completely shredded some of those houses though. How was your day, Chief? It was good, man. It's been okay. For a Monday, it's been good. I can't complain. I hope your day's a lot better, Tommy. No, the Skyview? The first Skyview. Oh, here? I don't think trenches, but it almost looks like some ground scourings going on. You see those swirl marks, like to the right? Like you can see the path it took through this town, like right over top of those houses that are completely slabbed. You can kind of see swirl marks. It's not clear enough for me to see like I can't make trenches out of that. Oh yeah, yeah, I see what you're talking about. The X right here, bottom center. That's actually crazy. Let's see. Hail protection on the Subaru, my boy Tommy. You got any storm chasing coming up? New Richmond, Wisconsin. Wisconsin. 1899? Oh, we're getting into the oldies
On June
here.
12th, 1899, a tornado estimated at F5 intensity touched down in far western Wisconsin, near the Minnesota border. After tearing through mostly rural portions of St. Croix County, the tornado barreled into the city of New Richmond, Wisconsin at peak intensity. The town was exceptionally crowded that day, as the Gulmar Brothers Circus had come to town, attracting hundreds of tourists from nearby communities.
Oh
The
no.
tornado entered town shortly after the circus ended,
What's up,
meaning the
RC?
downtown area was full of people out and
Welcome
about
in,
with their
RC.
families. Almost every building in town was erased from existence. What little did remain was soon torched by fires that raged through the community in the
Wow. I don't like clowns anyway.
Twister's wake. The infernos complicating search and rescue efforts as first responders battled the flames. In subsequent hours, trains would pour into the city from St. Paul full of doctors, nurses, and supplies. They'd get to treating the injured in what few buildings remained upright, sharing the limited space available with makeshift morgues to collect the dead. In the end, the New Richmond tornado would claim the lives of 117 people along
R.I.P.
a 45-mile-long path, making it the deadliest tornado in Wisconsin state history.
Quite a few strong thunderstorms in the next few days. Hey, I hope you have a successful chasing. Be careful. We don't need you getting out of the car and taking pictures like Brandon Kopic. Kopic? We're going to say Kopic. Even though if you do, show them to us.
Among the dead was 70-year-old Louisa Hurd. She lived on a farmstead a short ways outside of New Richmond. At the time the twister struck, she had company at her home, the Wares
Oh
family,
no.
a father, daughter, and son. Just as the wind outside of the Hurd home began to pick up and the tornado became visible, John Nightke and his fiancée ran up to the door. They had been passing by when the storm.
Big tornado on the ground in South Dakota. Dude, South Dakota has been getting hammered. Can I pull it up without getting, hold on, let me be careful. Let me be extremely careful. Where is the, um, oh yeah. Read 1806. Look at Max's stream right now. Sadly I can't. If you're live streaming, you can't watch another live stream on YouTube. No. If I was just on Twitch, we could, but let me try something else. What's this called? I do want to pull it up and take like a quick look. All right, here we
as
are.
normally. So
I'm gonna mute. That's actually a good sized tornado. I'll bring it over for just a second so you guys can see. I know most of you can see, but there it is. All those stupid trees, man. I can't leave it up very long. There it is. Yo, that's crazy. I think he's using like a Radar Omega or something like a premium plan of some sorts. But if you do get that plan and you know you're into that, you can actually like pull it up, you can watch it on Radar, and plus it gives you like so many screens at the bottom to where it'll show like live feeds from Storm Chasers. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Caught them off guard. Just as the tornado struck the home, the door
Yeah, it's
swung
massive,
open.
Tommy.
The both of them, the Wares and Miss Hurd, ran inside. Yet the Twister was already on top of them. Louisa Hurd and 13-year-old Gertie Hears were both killed as the vortex engulfed them.
R.I.P.
Gertie's father and brother were able to escape to the cellar before they were taken too. John Nike was killed by flying debris as well, while his fiancée miraculously managed to emerge uninjured. In the late morning,
I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of early tornadoes, man. Just when construction in general wasn't as good.
hours of April 24th, 1908, a large, violent tornado touched down in southeastern Louisiana. The twister quickly intensified, growing to nearly 2 miles wide as it tore a path directly to the city of Amite, where 29 people lost their lives. Several other people lost their lives in the nearby rural communities of Denham Springs, Montpelier.
Hurts my eyes. Some of these old pictures.
Despite crossing through mostly rural portions of Louisiana at this stage in its life, numerous farmsteads and country homes would be decimated throughout the region. After crossing into Mississippi, the twister would kill 2 more people before slamming into the village of Purvis. 55 people in the small town, which at the time only had around 700 people, would be killed. Only 7 of the town
Until we get to 2011, of course. Yeah, 2011, you know. Have you seen a tornado in real life? No. I've never actually seen one with my own eyeballs. And then came Joplin. Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen one myself. Would rather not.
150 buildings were left standing after the twister. Additional fatalities were soon documented in areas to the east of Purvis, including 4 railroad workers who perished while attempting to take shelter in a boxcar near Hattiesburg. The boxcar was thrown over 150 feet and torn apart in the tornado's violent winds. As the twister weakened, it took a few additional lives near the village of Richton before finally lifting, leaving behind a path of destruction the region had rarely seen before. With 143 deaths, the tornado is among the deadliest in U.S. history.
143.
Although present-day meteorologists question whether or not the twister's path of destruction actually was the product of a tornado family, rather than one singular vortex.
Here we are. Wait. Tommy, have you seen this video before? Tommy low-key called that. He called it. What's up, Sinky? 143. Yeah, it's crazy. That's a lot, man. One's too many, but, you know.
On the evening of Sunday, May 22nd, 2011, a large and incredibly violent tornado touched down a short ways to the west of the city of Joplin, Missouri.
Here we are.
The twister rapidly expanded into a massive wedge upon touching down, and soon barreled into the city of 50,000 at EF5 intensity. Row after row of homes on the west side of Joplin would suffer extensive damage. Miles.
No, I know you have, Tommy. Don't lie to us. Wait, Cincy. Is it Cincy or Sinky? I think it's Cincy. Exactly, August. I think Tommy's watching this a few seconds ahead of us.
Of suburbia erased in mere seconds. In some areas, slabs were swept nearly clean. The homes that had formerly stood upon them disintegrated by the tornado's 200-plus mile-per-hour winds. Some of the most extreme damage produced by the tornado would occur at the St. John's Medical Center, which lost nearly every window on 3 sides, many of its interior walls, and part of its roof. Its life flight helicopter was also blown away and destroyed. 5 patients would lose their lives at the hospital after the failure of a backup generator.
I remember most of this, dude. The Joplin tornado was tough. Large tornado in South Dakota right now. Yeah, we were checking it out just well, maybe not even a minute before you showed up. No, I don't. Just get. I'm messing with you, Tommy. I'm messing with you. Welcome back, Marge. That was a quick sleep. Oh, August, I think I seen him in the real-time Joplin, the real-time video.
Knocked off their life support. The twister peaked as it crossed Main Street in Joplin, where dozens of homes were obliterated. Some concrete porches were reportedly deformed by the winds and the debris hurled in the twister's vortex, and many trees were completely debarked. Some vehicles here went missing, thrown away amidst the tempest and never recovered. A large church, a nursing home, Franklin Technology Center, St. Mary's Catholic Church and School,
dude, that damage is
and
insane.
Joplin High School were all demolished in this area as well. At the Greenbrier Nursing Home, 21 fatalities were unfortunately documented.
R.I.P.
The high school was thankfully empty, the school's graduation ceremony taking place on that same exact day, 3 miles to the north, at Missouri Southern State University.
Yeah, they got lucky they got out of there before that tornado hit from the graduation. Reactions hurt to watch. You could hear it in his voice. Yeah, dude, it was tough. Joplin, a sad story, honestly.
The ceremony ended just a few minutes before the twister impacted town. However, as the graduates and family members returned home, Many ended up being caught in the twister's path. Among them was Will Norton. Will was a YouTuber who published...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him. He was a YouTuber that passed away from this tornado. Oswald got no notification. I'm sorry, brother. I hope you're doing good, though. Twitch does be slacking sometime with the notifications. Joplin videos always make me tear up. Dude, Joplin was just tough in general. Watching the real-time tornado was like... It's hard. Places got hit. Hope something like this never happens again. Me and you both, Tommy. Lily, what's up? Oswald, hope you're doing well. Next time, don't be sleeping and you'll get that notification, Oswald. Just saying. Hard to get a notification when you're napping.
Videos about various things in his life under the name Wildebeest. Filmmaking was his passion, and he had just recently been accepted to Chapman University Film School a few weeks prior. He was driving back home with his father when the tornado struck their vehicle. Will was sucked out of the car's sunroof, his father trying his best to hold on to his leg, but the winds proved too strong. Will was
I know I was muted. I'm sorry. I forgot that part. It sucked him out of the sunroof. Yeah, Lily, I love the real-time tornado. I wish they had more. They got more and Joplin. Those are really good. All the others, you have to like try to hunt down and piece together. I can't find a good spot for the rest of the real-time tornadoes. Yeah, August is tough. You have crazy severe weather popping off right now. Get in your weather bag. Wait, I don't think that's near me. I think I'm safe, Oswald. I'm safe. As of right now. Yeah, Tuscaloosa. That's the other one I watched, Cincy. More, Tuscaloosa, and Joplin. But they have one for Indiana. They have another one for Washington, Illinois, maybe. But you can't hardly find them. Like you have to piece them together, and some of the recordings is like somebody was at the TV recording it with their phone. So it's like a good bootlegged version.
was only 18 years old. The tornado continued on, tearing through commercial and industrial areas in eastern Joplin before lifting in rural areas east of the city, leaving behind a nearly 22-mile-long path of devastation. In total, the Joplin tornado claimed the lives of 158 people and caused over $2.8 billion in damage, making it the costliest in U.S. history. A tornadic disaster nearly unparalleled in modern America. It's the only event on this list to occur after 1953.
The only one after 1953. So I need you guys to be prepared. to see a lot of really old photos for the rest of this video. Wait a minute. Okay. I knew something was wrong right there. Here we go.
On April 9th, 1947, a massive 2-mile wide tornado tore a path
Yeah, those horizontal vortices from Tuscaloosa was crazy.
through portions of Texas and Oklahoma. Moving at nearly 50 miles per hour, the twister swept through several rural communities.
Wait, have you seen the Coleman and Arab tornado, Alabama? That one also has some crazy looking horizontal vortices and like almost a satellite tornado. It was crazy.
In the two states. Among them, the village of Glacier, Texas, which was struck first. Most structures in the rural village were swept completely away, their remnants scattered about the fields nearby, only little pieces left in the village itself. Vehicles in the area were thrown hundreds of yards and mangled beyond recognition. Foliage around Glacier was torn apart and shredded, while the ground around the town was significantly scoured, leaving behind a long, muddy trail. 17 people died in Glacier, a large segment of the tiny hamlet's overall populace.
That is a construction sign right there that I'm covering up. Hold on. See it? Right where my webcam was? I guess the construction in that area is about to really pick up. Alright, can we fix that? There we go.
An additional 51 people lost their lives in the village of Higgins, right along the Texas-Oklahoma border. Entire rows of homes in the farming town were swept away, and the downtown area was practically erased. Shortly afterwards, the twister would enter the state of Oklahoma, where it would soon become the
That house just kind of buckled into itself. Just got this building done. Yeah, I know, right?
deadliest tornado
Unlucky,
in the
really.
state's twister-rattled history. Countless rural farmsteads would disintegrate in the vortex's wild winds before slamming into the city of Woodward. Here, apocalyptic levels of damage would be observed. 100 city blocks disappeared from the map. Over 100 people would lose their lives. A 20-ton steel boiler tank at the city's power plant was lifted up and thrown a block into half. Trees across the village were debarked.
20 tons. 40,000 pounds. Picked up and hurled a block and a half. Whew.
Upon exiting Woodward, the tornado would continue for several more miles, before finally lifting west of the city of Alva, putting an end to a 98-mile path of destruction. 184 people lost their lives. 4-year-old Joan Gay Croft was among the survivors of the tornado. She and her sister Jerry...
Wait. I need to research more on this. This is the little girl that went missing after they took the kids to the hospital. I don't know how many of you all know about this, but I was going to watch a video by Swaggle Studios where he actually talks about this girl right here. Right there. She was taken to the hospital, and then like her sister recounts like somebody come and got her, and now they can't find her at all. Some speculate that she had already passed away, like she had had a some internal bleeding or something, and they had to take her away. And some speculate she was kidnapped. I gotta go, but I'll be back. Sounds good, August. See you in a few. See you in a few.
Sheltered in a hallway of the Woodward Hospital after the disaster. Jerry recalled that one night, two men came and took Joan away, claiming they were relocating her to a hospital in Oklahoma City. She was never seen again. The case has gone on to become one of the most mysterious intersections of sphere weather and crime. The case still remains unsolved.
On to Gainesville, Georgia.
On April 6, 1936, a large tornado moved into the city of Gainesville, Georgia, tearing a path directly through the city. At the center of town sat the Cooper Pants Factory, a large clothing manufacturer with hundreds of workers in it at the time the tornado struck. The tornado caught the workers off guard, all of them riding the storm out in the building as the twister tore through the area, leading to a partial collapse of the building. Up to 125 people were trapped on the second floor when the roof came down, blocking the only stairwell connecting them to the bottom level. Within minutes, the building erupted into a massive fireball.
Oh no.
The victims stuck under the rubble were soon engulfed in flames. Only 3 people were able to escape before the inferno started. All in all, 70 people lost their lives at the Cooper Pants Factory, the highest death toll in a single building ever recorded during a tornado. Debris in Gainesville was piled up to 10 feet high in the wake of the twister,
R.I.P.
complicating search and rescue efforts. In the end, 203 people in total lost their lives in the storm, the deadliest in Georgia's history.
Gainesville, Georgia. Told you about. Was upgraded to an EF2 and actually killed someone who was in one of their barns. R.I.P. Wow. You were, wait. So you were chasing that storm. EF2's pretty strong. Pretty strong nighter.
On April 5th, 1936, the day before the devastating
I can't stop
Gainesville
yawning.
tornado, another large and extremely violent twister touched down in northern Mississippi. The tornado slammed into the west side of Tupelo, flattening dozens of large mansions in the Willis Heights neighborhood. An entire family of 13 was killed in this area when their home was flattened and swept away. While missing downtown Tupelo, the tornado went on to strike the residential areas on the north side of the city, tearing through populated blocks of houses, taking many lives. The Gumpage neighborhood of Tupelo was perhaps the worst hit, homes swept away and thrown into the titular pond. Reportedly, the pond was full of bodies after the twister.
Wow, that's crazy.
Some individuals in the neighborhood were never recovered. After leaving Tupelo, the tornado passed over open fields, granulating and windrowing debris for miles as it crossed through predominantly agricultural areas, before finally lifting in northeastern Mississippi. The twister leveled almost 50 city blocks within Tupelo, leveling close to 1,000 homes and taking the lives of 216 people, although subsequent research has suggested the death toll may have been as high as 233. Among the most notable survivors of the tornado was 1-year-old Elvis Presley, who survived the storm and the subsequent fire
No way. Our boy Elvis.
that swept through Tupelo alongside his parents. During the early evening hours of
St. Louis got hit this year.
May 27, 1896, a massive mile-wide tornado touched down just to the west of St. Louis, Missouri, then one of the largest and most influential cities in the United States. The tornado tore a path directly through the center of the city, slamming right into the downtown district at approximately F4 intensity. The tornado demolished entire homes, churches, factories, and saloons, many of them packed full of people. After hitting the downtown area, the twister crossed the Mississippi River, where an uncertain amount of people may have perished on the many boats that often traversed the waters near the city, their bodies likely having been washed downriver, therefore making it impossible to count them towards the overall death toll. The tornado peaked in intensity as it made landfall in East St. Louis, Illinois. Hundreds of homes were swept away along the riverfront. 35 people were killed when the tornado struck the Vandalia rail yard at this intensity. The tornado was the most devastating and the costliest in U.S. history at the time. Tens of thousands of buildings in the cities were destroyed, and 255 people lost their lives.
Dude, Mississippi is all over this list.
On the afternoon of May 7th, 1840, a large tornado touched down roughly 20 miles to the southwest of Natchez, Mississippi, in east-central Louisiana. The tornado gradually continued to the northeast, running right along the Mississippi River. Forests were reportedly destroyed on both sides of the river, as the wedge tornado terrorized the shoreline, destroying dozens of plantations before slamming into the busy port city of Natchez. Here, 116 of the 120 flatboats docked at the Natchez landing were tossed into the river. Reports estimated that upwards of 200 people were killed in these boats alone, the crew and passengers aboard the vessels drowning in a raging river full of debris. As the tornado continued on, it was so wide that both Natchez and the village of Vandalia, Louisiana, across the river, were simultaneously impacted by its winds. Homes and businesses along the river were both decimated, with near total devastation documented. The Niles National Register documented the following in the wake of the disaster, describing the neighborhood of Natchez under the Hill as a scene of desolation and ruin which sickens the heart and beggars description. All is swept away, and beneath the ruins still lay crushed the bodies of many strangers. It would fill volumes to depict the many escapes and heart-rending scenes. One of the most interesting was the rescue of Mrs. Alexander from the ruins of the Steamboat Hotel. She was found greatly injured, with the 2 children in her arms, and they both dead. Officially, 317 people lost their lives in the storm.
I was muted. I am absolutely terrible for that. Anyways, I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really have a game plan. This was the first video we seen. We were on Overcast channel. We was like, you know what? We'll start here.
169 of those being crew and passengers aboard the boats docked along the Mississippi River, and 47 being on land in Natchez and Vandalia.
What's up, dude? How you doing, Drag Racer?
However, was likely much higher, as the slaves who died on the plantations in Louisiana were largely not counted towards the final total.
We all knew this one was coming. 1925 Tri-State.
On March 18th, 1925, a small funnel cloud was spotted traversing the hills of southeastern Missouri. Initially a highly visible and relatively harmless needle dancing through the hills of the Ozarks, it soon began to morph into something much more sinister. The tornado claimed its first life near the village of Ellington, Missouri, before the tornado rapidly intensified and slammed into the mining towns of Annapolis and Ledana. 2 people lost their lives in this area, and several homes are reported to have been leveled.
Doing good? That's what I like to hear. What do you guys think? Do you think that Tri-State Tornado was a singular long-track tornado or a series of tornadoes? I'm thinking a series. Or a family of tornadoes.
As the twister passed near the village of Fredericktown, it rapidly began to increase in size,
I could
soon
be wrong.
turning into a massive wall of swirling black clouds, barely recognizable as the raging tornado it was. The tornado claimed the lives of several additional individuals near the village of Sedgwickville, Missouri, and injured an additional 32 children when it struck a school in rural Bollinger County. Extreme ground scouring was observed in the fields nearby. The twister killed 4 in the village of Beale as it took on a multi-vortex shape shortly afterwards. The tornado subsequently crossed the Mississippi River into Illinois before barreling into the village of Gorham. The entire town was obliterated. Nearly every building in the small riverside hamlet erased from existence. Railroad tracks were reportedly ripped from the ground nearby, trees suffered extensive debarking, and significant ground scouring was reported in the fields nearby. Over half of the people living in Gorham at the time were injured or killed. The tornado continued in a northeasterly direction at highway speed, slamming into the city of Murfreesboro, Illinois at over 60 miles per hour, carving a nearly 1-mile path directly through the city of 10,000. Entire rows of homes in Murfreesboro were leveled. The city's densely populated working-class neighborhoods were the worst impacted. Countless houses blown away in mere seconds. 17 students lost their lives when the tornado struck the Longfellow School, and an additional 9 were killed at the Logan School. A large inferno erupted in the wake of the twister, sweeping through the city and killing many trapped beneath the rubble. Water mains in Murfreesboro were destroyed, so locals attempted to stop the fires by using dynamite, although this only made the devastation worse and took more lives.
Wait, by using dynamite? I don't see how that sounds like a good idea. Stopping a fire by lighting dynamite. I don't know about that one. Swiggle Studios did a great video about water spouts. I know absolutely nothing about water spouts, so that very well could be an option.
234 people died in the city, the highest number of fatalities caused by a tornado in a single city in U.S. history. The farming town of DeSoto was next on the tornado's rampage, the small village obliterated like Gorham and Murfreesboro before. 56 people were killed in the town, 33 losing their lives at the DeSoto school, the highest tornado death toll ever reported at a school.
Wait, is that what you're wanting to watch, Tommy? Is the water spout by Swiggle?
14 people were killed in and around the village of Bush. An additional 25 lost their lives in rural portions of Franklin County. The tornado next struck the city of West Frankfort, a prospering mining community of nearly 10,000 people. Like Murfreesboro before, the twister decimated several densely populated neighborhoods in town and ravaged the city's mines and industrial areas. 102 people lost their lives in West Frankfort. The villages of Caldwell and Parrish
I'll check it out
next before the tornado reached
I don't care at all. It'll be fun.
width of approximately 1.5 miles wide near the city of McLeansboro. The villages of Caldwell and Parrish were struck next before the tornado reached its
Welcome back, August.
maximum width of
Welcome
approximately
back.
1.5 miles near the city of McLeansboro. After crossing into Indiana, the twister obliterated the town of Griffin, leaving not a single building standing. 41 people lost their lives in the village. After
R.I.P.
clipping the city of Princeton, the tornado finally lifted at around 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time near the village of Oatsville. leaving behind a 219-mile-long path. The tornado took the lives of approximately 695 individuals,
R.I.P.
although that number
Dang,
is
dude.
widely believed to have been much higher in reality, still making it the deadliest tornado.
Didn't
in
a
US
lot of
history,
people think it was
and the
1,000?
second deadliest ever documented.
Hey, boys. Overcast. He does really good work, man. Does really good work. I don't know why, but I got to, after watching this video, I got to randomly watching some of the others, and he really does. He does pretty good work. All right, water spouts. Is that what it was? Oh. Okay, I know we is gonna watch something about Swiggle Studios water spouts. Okay, we gotta watch this one and the Swiggle Studios. Let me add this to watch later. Here, and then Swiggle Studios water spouts. Oh. Is this the one you're talking about, Tommy? Water spouts are creepy. Creepy. Yeah, we're gonna watch them both. August. I'm gonna watch them both. I think we already watched this one. Oh no, we haven't watched this. Have I? Okay, that's kind of interesting. I'm gonna add that to watch later. Alright, here we are. Water spouts.
Water spouts descended all around them. The captain recalled seeing up to 7 different water spouts at one time. One of these water spouts started acting very strange. It went horizontal halfway down and then proceeded to create an entire loop. The captain stated this: water was spouting up in a continuous stream right up into the cloud. Then the spout became very long, swaying and coiling, almost like a serpent. All at once it made a complete coil and then burst. Great quantities of water poured out of the lower part of the coil, and in a few seconds the whole thing vanished. Soon the water spouts dissipated and the sailors aboard the SS Burrawong took a sigh of relief. They had just encountered a natural phenomenon that they had only read about in old scientific texts. They had seen diagrams of ships being buried out at sea by huge swarms of water spouts, and they found out that this can actually occur in real life. But can such a looping water spout really occur? Well, in rare occasions, yes. Take a look at this footage of a similar water spout captured over the Black Sea only a few years back. Yeah, pretty wild.
Okay, I got a question. Is a water spout just a tornado over water? That's what I want to know. Or is it something completely different?
This is one of the strangest whirlwind rope tornadoes I have ever witnessed. Now, while it didn't loop, after watching that footage, I wouldn't be surprised if looping water spouts occur in nature. Water spouts are weird. They're still a bit of an enigma even to this day. And honestly, there's something that's kind of eerie and creepy about them. And that's what we'll be covering in today's video. We'll be discussing the many different types of water spouts and the observational history of said water spouts. We'll also be going over strange and rare water spout phenomena, including the ultra rare, ultra creepy water spout outbreak / swarm. But before we get to that,
It's kind of like that? Both? Oh, God.
Officially a YouTuber because I got sponsored by the most YouTuber thing to get sponsored by. Raid Shadow water spouts we have occurred over 2,000 years ago. In Meteorologica, Aristotle was one of the earliest natural philosophers to make theories regarding the origins of water spouts and tornadoes. According to Aristotle, tornadoes and waterspouts are caused by wind that is caught inside clouds that moves in a round pattern. A waterspout is then created when the wind leaves the cloud and carries the cloud as it descends. Roman authors, such as Pliny the Elder, advanced the early notions proposed by Greek thinkers. For the next several centuries, the theories put forward by the natural philosophers of Greece and Rome dominated the field of meteorology. It wouldn't be until the 17th century that new, more intriguing theories would emerge. According to a theory made popular by French physicist Jean-Charles Peltier, waterspouts were a form of electrical phenomena. Not quite sure how he came up with that. Maybe it's because sometimes lightning occurs with waterspouts. But this theory was very popular throughout Europe. Even Benjamin Franklin was really into waterspouts. He also studied and released theories on them. The curiosities of these strange trumpet-shaped clouds continue to intrigue scientists. But it really wasn't until the modern era that we actually figured out what the heck was going on. So what the heck is actually going on? What causes these waterspouts?
That's what we're here for.
Well, there are two types of waterspouts: tornadic waterspouts and non-tornadic or fair weather waterspouts. Tornadic waterspouts are literally just normal tornadoes that occur over water. That is, a tornado that has formed from a mesocyclonic supercell. So technically, if a tornado in Oklahoma crosses a river or a lake, for that brief moment, it's a waterspout, a tornadic waterspout. Now, non-tornadic or fair weather waterspouts are a bit different. They actually don't form from supercell thunderstorms. They occur under very specific water conditions. If water towards the surface of an ocean or a large lake or any body of water is very warm, like...
Wait a minute. Kind of partially answered my question there as to why they form. That's actually insane that the water plays such a pivotal role in that. Chaser Ages. Hey, I appreciate you, dude. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Thank you.
90 degrees Fahrenheit warm. That surface water
Tommy and August just make fun of me.
can actually evaporate and form clouds above the water's surface. Those clouds cool at a slower rate than the surrounding dry air, leading to instability causing an updraft within the cloud. This leads to an inflow of air beneath the cloud and above the surface of the water. Sometimes it kind of starts off as a little mist, a little, above the surface, a little circle in the water. Wind can then come from the side, interact with the inflow, forming a vortex and a condensation funnel. And that is your typical fair weather waterspout. The biggest factor in all this is warm water. For this reason, waterspouts are very common in tropical waters. The Florida Keys sees the most waterspouts, up to 400 a year. It's like one a day. More than one a day. Places like the Mediterranean Sea also see a large amount of waterspout.
So that right there's a water spout. No, I don't. I'm pretty sure Chaser Ages is the first one to ever say anything nice in here.
The Gulf of Mexico, or is it the Gulf of America? What's it called now? Wikipedia says the Gulf of Mexico, so we're just going to stick with the Gulf of Mexico. But the Gulf of Mexico sees loads of waterspouts all on the Florida coast and up towards the shores of Louisiana and Mississippi. Northern areas like the Great Lakes can also see their fair share of waterspouts throughout the late summer and early fall when that water is at its peak temperature.
It's a twin water spout. Yo, that's crazy. Twin waterspouts. Okay, you learn something new every day.
Waterspouts can be quite massive, 100 to 30 feet wide and 2,000 feet tall. That's taller than any building in the US. Wind speeds for fair weather waterspouts are around 70 to 100 miles per hour, similar to an EF0 or EF1 tornado. Obviously, a tornadic waterspout can have wind speeds over 300 miles per hour. Check out this footage of a tornadic waterspout crossing a river. You do not want to be caught in that.
my God. Look how strong those winds are.
You do not want to be caught in that. Much more intense than one of these guys. But these guys, these fair weather waterspouts, they can still be quite dangerous and deadly. While the vast majority of waterspouts are weak and never come to shore, some...
Are you kidding me? Yeah, you're right, August. Wait, was there another one in the background here?
Spouts, they can still be quite dangerous and deadly. While the vast majority of waterspouts are weak and never come to shore, some do.
Look at that, there was two.
And deadly. While the vast majority of waterspouts are weak and never come to shore,
ain't no surviving? No, that one that went in the river was insane.
some do, and they can really mess up several beach umbrellas. Fairweather waterspouts can also be quite dangerous if you're in a boat. In fact, one of the deadliest tornado events in the past year, in 2024, may have been caused by a waterspout. Tech billionaire Mike Lynch was accused of committing fraud in San Francisco, but after the trial he was acquitted of all charges, and to celebrate, him and a bunch of colleagues and family decided to spend the night of August 18th out on the Mediterranean Sea aboard his luxury yacht, the Basian. Early in the morning around 4 a.m. on August 19th, just off the coast of Sicily, the boat suddenly began to shake. Witnesses on the shore claimed that they had seen a water tornado drop from the sky and strike the boat. The boat then capsized and sank within a few short minutes. Out of the 22 on board, 7 lives were lost, including the tech billionaire himself, Mike
R.I.P.
Lynch. Surprisingly, the 7 victims did not die from drowning. According to their autopsies, they died from asphyxiation as they were trapped within an air bubble within the yacht 100 feet beneath the surface on the floor of the Mediterranean Sea. Now, some officials do believe that the sinking of the yacht was actually caused.
Boys. Wow.
Caused by a downburst, not a water spout. That's a different, weather phenomenon. Also can be quite dangerous, especially for planes. However, it's worth noting that another nearby yacht was perfectly intact and undamaged from the storm, pointing to a more direct strike on the Basian. A few years back, I did a video on the deadliest weak tornadoes. One very common factor in these events was water. Being on a boat in high winds is a recipe for disaster. The Whippoorwill disaster on June 17, 1978 saw 16 fatalities when an F1 tornadic waterspout over Lake Pomona in Kansas struck the Whippoorwill showboat, capsizing it. This specific F1 tornado is the deadliest F1 tornado on record. You don't even need a tornado or a waterspout to have a tragic water event. Sometimes just severe thunderstorms can cause a deadly disaster, like the Table Rock Lake duck boat disaster on July 18, 2018. As a derecho hit southern Missouri, a duck boat with 31 people aboard sank, leading to 17 fatalities. Another weak F1 tornado-turned-waterspout killed 6 individuals on May 26, 1974 over the Wakaama River in South Carolina. Late in the evening, around 11 p.m., 2 families and 3 children were heading back to the marina. When they were only a quarter mile away from the dock, a waterspout struck their 20-foot boat, capsizing it, leading to 6 of the 7 family members drowning. A very tragic event that has become forgotten over time. So non-tornadic fairweather waterspouts have proven to be dangerous in certain conditions, but they are not nearly as deadly as true mesocyclonic water tornadoes. Some of the deadliest tornado events in history were tornadic waterspouts. The deadliest tornado event in all of European history occurred on September 23, 1551, when a waterspout struck the Grand Harbor of Malta, destroying several large vessels, resulting in the deaths of over 600 individuals. It was the 5th deadliest tornado event in recorded history. Modern researchers have retroactively given the Grand Harbor tornado a Toro 7 rating, close to an EF3 or an EF4 rating, with wind speeds around 180 miles per hour. An estimated F5 tornado turned waterspout killed over 300 individuals when a powerful wedge, massive tornado destroyed several ships while crossing the Mississippi River near Natchez, Mississippi on May 7, 1840. Overall, 116 boats were destroyed. In the following weeks, remnants from these boats were found over 30 miles away. However, the most iconic waterspout, at least to me, my favorite waterspout, I guess that sounds kind of bad. But I'm talking about the Great Miami Tornado on May 12th, 1997. It was only an F1 tornado, and fortunately, no one died. But check out this footage from a local television station.
Full condensation on the funnel as the whole system here is fully illuminated.
Sorry about that, by the way.
East to northeast at this point, and it's about to move over the causeway pretty soon. But you can see that's a huge area of water that is now being sprayed up from the water and up into the funnel itself. Behind it, there's a little trail in the water that sort of marks where it has been right there. As it continues to move to the northeast, it's almost ready to go over the Venetian Causeway.
Incredible footage. Also, look how huge it is. Like, look at it compared to the buildings. Seriously, a beautiful tornado. And this image of the tornado over downtown Miami is wild. Let's move on to the next section. Rare waterspout phenomena. Of course, we've already talked about that looping horizontal waterspout witnessed on the SS Burrowang, but there are other enigmatic phenomena associated with these strange water tornadoes. For example, multi-walled waterspouts. Multi-walled waterspouts refer to waterspouts that seem to have...
I have to watch the stream later. We're praying for derecho in the next 2 to 3 hours. Amen, yeah. We're supposed to get some really bad weather in certain parts, so stay safe, Miss Ring. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. Take the warnings seriously, like Miss Ring here. Be prepared. I don't think I'm in any bad weather.
Several inner
for tonight,
funnels.
anyways.
These are observed somewhat frequently, but are still kind of rare. There have also been reports of forked waterspouts, although there's not much credibility to these reports. One example comes from a sighting of a forked waterspout in the South China Sea on May 19th, 1967. A much more likely scenario is that there was 2 waterspouts and one of them was kind of hidden behind the other, and it like forked out, and then from a certain vantage point it looked like a forking waterspout. Although there is footage of 2 waterspouts joining together at the base.
Yo, that right there is insane.
And there are twin waterspouts. So it's not super crazy to think that somewhere along the line they converged into one, creating a sort of forked waterspout, but perhaps more of an upside down forked waterspout. One of the craziest waterspout phenomena that I had read about were 2 separate reports of waterspout funnels connecting between 2 different cumulus clouds. It's way more likely that these were just clouds in between the 2 clouds that kind of looked like waterspouts, like maybe like a scud cloud or something. Although seeing something like this would look pretty sweet. Some other rare waterspout phenomena include this photo of what appears to be a luminous waterspout, aka a waterspout that's glowing in the dark. This would be crazy to...
Let's see, that's how waterspout babies are made. Yeah. A little intimacy at sea.
witness. I mean, can you imagine sitting on a beach and seeing a glowing tornado on the horizon over the waters? That would be crazy. I don't know what is going on in this photo, but technically this could be possible. Like if a waterspout picked up a bunch of creatures that have bioluminescence, the tornado would glow. That's crazy to think about. There's also triple waterspouts. These look terrifying. They look kind of like a, like a Cthulhu kind of situation, a monster tentacles up above the clouds. Kind of like War of the Worlds. I'm getting War of the World vibes with this, like the little tripods.
My water bottle was absolutely destroyed.
Those, okay. This is now the creepiest form of nature. But speaking of triple waterspouts, probably the most creepy form of waterspout phenomena are waterspout swarms, or clusters. One of the earliest depictions of a waterspout swarm included over 30 different waterspouts. Near the Bahamas on February 12, 1888, Captain Richard J. Gray from the British steamship Ernmore saw a misty circle over the water near his ship. This misty circle occurred under cloudy skies, but the weather was, in general, pretty tame. Suddenly, what appeared to be a large column of water formed over the circle and rose high into the sky until it reached the cloud base. It was a classic example of a waterspout. But after this waterspout, another waterspout formed on the other side of the ship, and then another one after that. Soon they began forming all around, and in the end, Gray had claimed that he had witnessed over 30 different waterspouts in the span of only a few hours. And he wasn't alone. 20
Yo, it's like Grand Island.
Waterspouts were observed by a nearby Norwegian steamship. In fact, swarms of waterspouts have been observed for hundreds of years. Many historical depictions showcase long rows of waterspouts striking and capsizing ships. According to history, these waterspout swarms seem to happen quite often. So what exactly is going on? Does such a natural phenomenon actually exist? Are there modern accounts of waterspout outbreaks like this? Yes. And let's be real, the idea of these waterspout swarms can be quite creepy.
Yo, that would absolutely be terrifying, August. Absolutely terrifying.
If you live on the coast or if you're on a ship out at sea, seeing something like this off in the distance, it's got some nightmarish vibes to it. The fact that they're just kind of there lingering, needle fingers sticking out of the clouds on the... I don't know. It's pretty creepy. In fact, the 2011 horror film Take Shelter features several apocalyptic scenes featuring the formation of dozens of waterspouts off in the distance, slowly approaching the shore. So yeah, they're definitely creepy. But how do they form? Well, if conditions are just right, waterspout development can explode. For example, let's take a look at the Great Lakes waterspout outbreak that occurred in late September, early October 2003. Many waterspouts occurred over the course of a few days, but on one day in particular, October 2nd, 21 waterspouts occurred around the same time. What's interesting though is this event was actually predicted to occur. During this time of the year, the waters of the Great Lakes are at their peak temperature, close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. This is from all the summer heating. So one, you have warm waters. Two, a major cold front was coming in from the northwest, and this stream of cold air crossed directly over the Great Lakes, and with this cold stream came a lot of atmospheric instability. Throughout the course of a few days, there were a few waterspouts that would form every once in a while, but there was one additional factor that created a waterspout swarm in a specific location. On October 2nd, over Lake Ontario, a converging line of embedded thunderstorms and showers had formed. Meanwhile, above the lake, a surface trough was heading south from Ontario. Radar showed the development of a strong convergence line when these two features interacted. This line of thunderstorms produced at least 21 waterspouts. Most of the waterspouts occurred and dissipated over the lake, but a few did make it to shore, and one even caused a bit of damage. Good news though, while there were a ton of waterspouts in a line looking scary beyond...
How far into land do waterspouts go? My goodness. Do they go far? Do they travel onto land like for a good distance? Dude, yeah, it's creepy. Absolutely creepy.
They were all very weak and thin. So essentially they were harmless. The Great Lakes does have a long history of waterspout swarms and outbreaks. A photo of 12 simultaneous waterspouts was captured over Lake Huron in the 1980s. I couldn't find this photo, but apparently it's like the record for the most simultaneous waterspouts ever captured in one photo. But the Great Lakes isn't the only location where these waterspout outbreaks occur. Only a few years ago, a Finnish border guard member reported seeing up to 7 waterspouts at once off the northern portion of Åland, a series of islands off the southwest coast of Finland. There were quadruple waterspouts in Zambron, Italy on August 5th, 2020, and another major waterspout outbreak took place early in the morning on Sunday, January 21st, 2018, off the coast of Corfu, an island of Greece. But my favorite waterspout swarm event ever was captured by Frank Lede on August 20th, 2020. This event occurred out in the Gulf of Mexico near Louisiana, and this photo right here is one of the craziest captures of any natural
Look at all those waterspouts.
Phenomenon that I've ever seen. What's crazy and different about this waterspout cluster when compared to others is just how close they all are to each other. I mean, they're so close. I would hate to be in a boat caught in the middle of that. That would be terrifying and not good. Maybe those historic depictions.
It would be terrifying and not good.
I mean,
no water spout, I think. That's fair. Lose the energy or the warmth from the water, I guess.
Being like boats were really common back in the day because you didn't have planes. So there was a lot of boats out there. And I mean, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, this could actually happen. Definitely an insane thing to capture on film. This was also, by the way, 80 miles off the coast. So this was like out at sea. Knowing that, this sort of phenomenon probably actually occurs all the time out in the middle of the ocean, and there's just no one there to witness them. Fortunately, waterspout outbreaks or clusters appear to be quite tame. Usually the more waterspouts, the weaker they are. So if you live on the coast, if you live on a boat, you can sleep soundly through the night. I mean, you still want to look at your warm globally. Waterspouts are likely to become more common. So stay safe, keep an eye out for these. And
All right, well, new fear, I guess. Now I don't want to go out on a boat, especially in the ocean. Water spout chasing? Yeah, just. I feel like that would be a little bit more expensive. We're gonna need a bigger boat. It'd be like Jaws, but we're not looking for sharks. We're looking for water spouts. So 2010 Millbury EF4. Our boy August was gonna watch this. Or our boy.
Lucas and
I
Wood
don't
County under tornado warning.
I hope your mom's awake.
Wait, this happened in Ohio? Um.
She's gotta be awake.
Five miles from here, a tornado has just touched down. It will become the most devastating tornado to strike Ohio in over a decade, and will kill 7 people. Arriving into town just before midnight, no one will see it coming. No pictures will be taken of it. Scarcely anyone will see it.
I'm telling you, dude, nighttime tornadoes are a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Thanks for, yeah, you're very welcome, Tommy. Thank you for recommending it, dude, because I knew absolutely nothing about water spouts. Nothing. And you know what I learned from all that? Don't be in the ocean.
No one knows what's coming, but a lot has happened to get us to this point. To fully grasp the story at hand, and to fully understand what is about to happen, we must first go back to the morning of June 5th, 2000.
I'm just going to build me an underground house. What's up, Chief? What's up, Logan? Hope you're doing well. Just destroyed a house in South Dakota. We were looking at that earlier with South Dakota. South Dakota's just getting hammered these past couple of days with some really, really, really bad storms. Let's see. I gotta look at something real quick. Whew. Man. Exactly, August. It's so what's up? Is like South Dakota just having like an outbreak these past couple of days? Okay, let's see here. Is it Derecho? Is that correct? Now, is that just like straight line winds? I feel like I looked this up before, and I think it's like some really strong straight line winds. What's up, King? How you doing, dude? My boy King over on Twitch. Hope you're doing well, dude. Which Andy are we doing? We're actually looking at the 2010 Millbury, Ohio EF4. Another nighttime tornado. Yeah, South Dakota, man. Poor place. So where is this cross country at horrendously fast speeds? I got you. Thank you, King. Thank you. A line of storms that will be producing 100-mile plus winds. Woo! So where's this going to be at? Yeah, I just need these winds to stay away from me. Hopefully everyone else is out of the way as well. We ain't about that life. We are not about that life. Do I got this? Yeah. Minnesota and South Dakota? Gotcha. Dang, man. South Dakota just can't catch a break. It's been a rough couple days for the people of South Dakota. They've had some rather violent tornadoes and now some really strong straight line winds headed their way. Probably going to hit the Twin Cities. Jesus, dude. Hopefully everyone's prepared. Stay safe. I don't know if any of you guys live in those areas. If you do, get prepared. Dude, that's just scary business. Wait, what's it do? Oh, I see. I'm sorry, I'll get back to the video in just a second, guys. I apologize. Okay. 2010 Millbury. Dude, late night tornadoes are just insane. Absolutely insane.
10.
Always so deadly, too.
The day began in a very uneventful fashion. Temperatures were warm and the air was muggy, but to those in northwest Ohio, severe weather was only a distant thought as they looked up at the bright blue skies that covered the region. However, meteorologists across the Midwest were well aware of the chance for tornadoes that existed across the region that day. The Storm Prediction Center had outlined a moderate, or level 4 out of 5 risk of severe weather, stretching from near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to the Iowa-Missouri border.
We all know what that means.
While this risk was driven by the threat for strong, damaging winds, a 10% tornado risk was also in place across much of the risk area. Forecasters had expected this for a couple of days as a low-pressure system associated with a strong cold front began to move eastward into the Great Lakes region. This low-pressure system ushered large amounts of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico into the Midwest, coinciding with the brutal summer heat and ample potential energy for storms to feed off of. Alongside this, plenty of wind shear was present in the atmosphere, all combining to create an excellent environment for the development of strong supercell thunderstorms.
Same, August. Absolutely. Like, they're already bad enough, in broad daylight. Then you throw in, like, nighttime, you can't see anything. As if it isn't bad enough.
By 7 p.m., storms in Illinois had already begun to produce tornadoes. Over the course of the next few hours, several additional twisters would touch down across the state, including 2 EF3s that impacted areas near Streator and St. Anne, respectively, and a deadly EF2 that impacted the town of Dwight, taking one person's life.
R.I.P.
A series of tornadoes in the Peoria metro area triggered a tornado emergency, the most significant warning that can be issued by the National Weather Service. This was the first...
That's how we like to get woke up in the morning, smacked by a nader. Oh, God, dude. No. I'll let my alarm clock on my phone do the job.
such warning issued in the state's history, putting those in the path.
That's part of what makes it so bad, though. Everybody's sleeping, or, most people are sleeping or winding down for the night. They don't even get the warnings. Even if they get issued, they might not even get the warnings. Exactly, August.
On high alert. Thankfully, Peoria itself was spared from any tornadic impacts. The neighboring community of Elmwood, however, was not so lucky. The
Did my audio just randomly cut off?
city was struck
It
by a
did.
well-documented and photogenic EF2, which tore a path straight through the town, destroying several homes and businesses as it crossed through the city center, lofting debris high into the air. He was struck by a well-documented and photogenic EF2,
Oh my goodness.
which tore a path straight through the town, destroying several homes and businesses as it crossed through the city center, lofting
Wow.
debris high into the air and rolling several vehicles before exiting the city. As these storms continued moving east, the Storm Prediction Center elected to issue a large tornado watch covering most of central and northern Indiana, as well as western Ohio and extreme southern Michigan. This watch was issued due to the development of additional supercells, along with the imminent arrival of the Illinois cell.
Absolutely demolished that house. Imagine being in that house. Hopefully no one was in there. But holy moly.
Cells into the region, several of which were still producing tornadoes. At 10:10 p.m., Doppler radar indicated a group of these cells moving towards the Toledo, Ohio metropolitan area, right as this watch was issued. Driven by high CAPE values, strong shear, and a likely interaction with the lake effect boundary, these storms would...
Yeah, it was August. That was wild, man. First you see like a little piece of the... Well, I wouldn't say little. That was... you see a portion of the roof get ripped off, and then the house just completely disintegrates.
rapidly begin organizing. The National Weather Service quickly began monitoring them for severe and tornadic potential, and at roughly 10:30 p.m., the first tornado associated with this supercell would impact areas outside of Liberty Center, Ohio, destroying several homes and attaining an EF2 rating. This tornado would remain on the ground for around 7.5 miles before lifting as the storm began to pass over the densely populated Toledo suburbs. While the supercell would produce an additional EF1 near the city of White House, the twister would remain over primarily rural areas, sparing the urban portions of the metro area from significant damage. However, meteorologists both on air and at the National Weather Service office in Cleveland would grow increasingly concerned as rotation would continue to increase in strength as it crossed over the city of Perrysburg. Around this time, a bounded weak echo region, or a donut hole as it's commonly referred to, would appear on radar directly over Perrysburg, indicative of a strong, intensifying updraft, and a common precursor to the development of strong tornadoes. Shortly after 11 p.m., what would go on to become a monster EF4.
First small pieces, and then it goes up, followed by violent power flashes. Yeah, it was intense, man. It went south real fast. Hey, Tommy's still in my line. That's the go-to line. Hey, yo, King. Is King still here? King, that is a brilliant t-shirt idea. That's wild. The reason I say it, Tommy, is we were talking in Discord earlier, and King said something about putting that on a t-shirt. Where I say that's wild so much. Yeah. Just have like a, just a plain shirt that says that's wild over here. Oh, goodness. That was so funny.
Would finally touch down just outside of Perrysburg, adjacent to the Ohio.
Make tens of dollars. Oh, God. How many dollars did you make? I made $5. I'll be the first one who buys that. All right, we're up to $10. That's hilarious. It's funny because I say that so much. And I do think it would just be like more of a comedy shirt. That's wild.
Turnpike. Its eyes set directly on the small rural community of Millbury, Ohio.
Home violently removed from the earth. That's wild. Gee. Hey, look, in my defense, well, what else are you supposed to say? Because, it's a fitting description, right? It fits the situation because that is wild. That is a wild situation taking place. So we got That's Wild and Susan Get My Pants. Can we find a third? Yeah, the third, the third king will be just those two combined. Susan Get My Pants. It's getting wild. All right, I'm turning.
Millbury, Ohio is the epitome of ordinary. A small Midwestern town with an affinity for football whose population barely reaches above 1,000 people, its history has long been characterized by farming and quiet living. Located only about 8 miles from the downtown of the much larger neighboring city of Toledo, Millbury's laid-back country lifestyle has long served as a retreat for those in the region looking for an escape from busy city life. The only restaurant here is a Subway on the corner of Main Street and State Route 51. The next closest thing is the village pub, which, despite apparently not serving food, still manages to attract a fair amount of patrons any hour of the day. The most prominent buildings in town are its 3 churches, dedicated to Saints Peter, Paul, and Mount Calvary. While the area's residents may belong to different religious groups, they're all united in their love for God, country, and their shared community of Millbury. Here, it's not out of the ordinary to see a tractor rumbling its way down Main Street in the middle of the afternoon. Or,
Dude, I can't stop itching. Like, I feel like I got something crawling on me. Susan get my pants. Man watching tornado approaches home. Dude, and it was such a huge tornado. That's what gets me. It's like it was going to demolish that house. And it barely dodged it. And he's just sitting here with that recorder like, all right.
or for the occasional tumbleweed to roll in from the adjacent cornfields to take a stroll through the village's well-manicured lawns. It's your quintessential rural Americana, isolated but not alone, small but full of people with big hearts. It's not perfect, but it's home. Driving through town, it's hard to believe that the tornado ever happened. It's been almost exactly 14 years since this town was hit, but you'd never be able to tell it even occurred if you're just passing through. But for those that call this place home, the memories of that day are still fresh in their minds. After what I'm about to tell you, you'll soon understand why. As you listen, I invite you to put yourself in the shoes of those whose stories we'll be sharing. Try to understand what they must have been feeling as this disaster unfolded. It won't be pretty, but their stories deserve to be told, and their memories deserve to be carried on. With that being said, let's return to the night of June 5th, 2010. The time is 11:20 p.m.
Yeah, dude, 11:20 p.m., everyone's asleep. Most people are asleep. The time couldn't be much worse. You couldn't care at all
Shrouded
about
in
it.
darkness and essential.
Yeah, that's kind of like what was going through my mind. I was like, it's probably just another day to this guy. But that Columbus tornado was massive. There's no shot I would have still been filming when he was, or come back upstairs to continue filming. Ain't no way.
Virtually invisible, the Twister would touch down right along Oregon Road, right on the outskirts of Toledo's urban sprawl. The Twister would touch down inside of the Friendly Village mobile home park, but thankfully would produce only minimal damage. NWS surveyors later determining the tornado was of EF0 intensity in this area.
King says Cheap would have already had his pants on. No, hey, look. The first chance I get and I see like a tornado, butt naked. I'm stripping down butt naked and recording that bad boy. We hope. Tornado went to grab a sub and wash it down at the pub, so that's where drunk nados come from. I'm telling you, dude, hey, if I ever get to film one, butt naked, I gotta one-up Andy.
At this point, the NWS had no idea that a tornado had touched down at all. Due to the nocturnal nature of the Twister, confirming it was a very difficult task, as storm spotters and locals were unable to see it through the dark. Thankfully, though, a tornado warning had already been issued for the area several minutes prior.
At least they got a warning
That
out.
early warning proved to be very important for the residents, as shortly after striking the mobile home park, the tornado would plow into the southern portions of the town of Moline at EF2 intensity.
What's up with nighttime tornadoes hitting mobile home parks? It always happens. It seems like every video I watch of a nighttime tornado it hits a mobile home park. Welcome back, Marge. Welcome back.
Damage was primarily limited to destruction of roofs and siding, with several trees in the area also being toppled. Thankfully, no significant injuries or fatalities were reported. Unfortunately, however, that would not remain the case for long. Continuing the Twister's trend of rapid intensification, it would strengthen to EF3 intensity as it crossed State Route 795. Several homes along Moline Martin Road would be completely destroyed as the narrow tornado passed over them. Irwin Welling, an 87-year-old man, resided in one of these homes. He sustained serious injuries during the tornado and unfortunately succumbed to them 3 weeks later,
R.I.P.
the tornado's first fatality. Irwin fought valiantly in World War II alongside his fellow soldiers. Taken as a prisoner of war, he suffered behind enemy lines for 11 months, before finally being set free. A fighter his entire life, he was the definition of a hero.
Yo, that's crazy. And went to the next town, yeah.
After exiting Moline, a tornado would impact Toledo Executive Airport, one of 2 airports serving the Toledo metro area at EF3 intensity. Several hangars and other buildings on the airport's south side would be completely destroyed, as would the neighboring Lake Township Police Department. Here, several dispatchers and first responders were monitoring the phones as the storm grew closer and closer. Just as reports of a tornado being on the ground were coming in, the Twister struck the building head-on. It was reported that several dispatchers remained on call assisting local police and EMS as the Twister tore the structure apart around them, metal and wood flying every which way within the vortex. Miraculously, all those working within the police department survived. The building around them, however, was a total loss, with the roof completely torn off and significant damage dealt to the walls. Police cars parked outside were thrown and tossed about. One was found wrapped around a tree. Another EMS vehicle parked adjacent to the department was thrown an estimated 1,000 feet by the tornado's winds.
Wow.
Just as the tornado struck, a family of 3 were on their way home from dinner. While driving down State Route 795, they suddenly spotted the tornado, the Twister illuminated by sporadic power flashes as it tore through Moline. Quickly, they pulled into the police department's parking lot and rushed towards the front door, just as the tornado overtook them. 20-year-old Bailey Bowman unfortunately lost her life during this ordeal. Amazingly, her boyfriend and her infant son managed to escape without serious injury. Bailey is remembered by all as a loving mother and a caring companion, one who was unfortunately taken from the world far too soon.
R.I.P.
As the tornado would continue to move eastward, it would slam
True, Tommy, true.
directly into Lake High School. Much of the school was destroyed, including the gymnasium, where less than 24 hours later the class of 2010 was scheduled to hold their commencement ceremony. Several school buses parked outside would be tossed around like toys, crumpled up and turned on their sides in the school parking lot. A testament to how narrow the Twister was, the adjacent Lake Middle and Elementary schools would be virtually untouched by the Twister's carnage, with only minor roof damage done to both structures, while the entire high school was a total loss. While the Twister was impacting the school, just 2 miles north in Walbridge, a pair of locals were camped out atop the Interstate 280 overpass. Hearing something that sounded like a distant roar, they knew something was amiss. Deciding to record, they looked to the south, and captured the tornado as power flashes illuminated the sky, suddenly letting them see the monster in the distance.
Oh, see it?
The schools always get hit, August. Always.
There's a tornado, dude! It's a... Oh, it might be coming right at us. It's a tornado. Call 911 right now. Just call 911. Look how big it's getting. toxic. God, there's someone here. What's coming that way, dude? We had to protect the car, huh? I'm telling you what, I mean, that back there got it up. Oh my God, you see that shit? Oh, look at that.
As this video was being taken, 56-year-old Kathleen Hammett was driving.
Yo, that thing was getting wild. My father is actually one too. He was in Afghanistan. Shoot, dude. Wait, you're from Germany, right, Tommy? Yo, salute to your dad, dude. Hey, Laura. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that thing was getting wild, man.
Down Route 795 going westbound. Her two daughters were following closely behind in their own car. The trio were on their way back home after visiting Kathleen's husband and her daughter's father at Bay Park Hospital in nearby Oregon. They had attempted to leave the hospital at around 10:30, yet had been stopped by security due to the tornado warning issued for the aforementioned twister near White House. Finally, shortly after 11, they were allowed to leave, thinking it.
Oh, dude. We all know what happens here. Bad news, man. You just getting off work, Laura?
Was safe. They had about 40 minutes left on their commute as they came upon the I-280 Route 795 interchange. Tired and drowsy after an exhausting day, nothing seemed out of the ordinary as the first few droplets of rain began to pitter-patter on their windshields. All of a sudden, the radio came alive with an EAS tone. A tornado was on the ground in Wood County. What happened next was sudden and came with little warning. The wind suddenly picked up, and then the sisters watched the tornado pick up their mother's car.
No way.
Tossing it roughly 50 yards into an adjacent field. Without any time to react, the sisters soon found themselves within the twister's vortex. Before they knew it, they too found themselves in a nearby field. But they were okay.
But that's good.
First responders soon arrived on scene. Once they did, the sisters received the news that their mom hadn't made it through the storm.
R.I.P.
Kathleen was a fervent believer of Christ, and an amazing influence on all who came in contact with her. In a statement, her daughters stated that their mother was the most amazing, positive, and spiritually driven woman in the world.
Dude, that's so sad. Just left the hospital. Drive home late at night, can't see anything, boom. Off work today? Have you had a good day off work? I hope you have had a good day. Dude, I'm tired. It's been a long day.
After crossing I-280, the tornado would traverse through empty farmland.
You know, when you actually think about it, isn't it crazy at the timing? You know, being in that exact spot at the exact same time as the tornado. It's so unlucky. Like, what are the odds of that?
Remaining consistent in intensity as it did so. Less than a mile away was the town of Millbury, where security cameras in town captured the tornado as it approached, power flashes illuminating the twister in the dark. By this point, news that a confirmed damaging tornado was on the ground approaching Millbury was actively being transmitted to local television stations. News stations just a few miles away in Toledo had been covering the storm for nearly an hour. Tower cams in downtown Toledo would capture heavy rain and lightning flashing through the skies above, while viewers would look on, oblivious to the carnage unfolding a mere 5 miles away. Those within Millbury would soon experience this tornado firsthand, as by 11:30, the twister had entered the west side of town. Several homes along Bradner Road and Cherry Street would be impacted at EF3 intensity, resulting in near-complete destruction of several residences. Among the homes impacted in this area was that of the Kranz family. The family was sheltering in the basement as the twister approached when Ted Kranz, the family patriarch, exited the basement to save the family dog. He never returned. A dedicated father.
If they didn't get the go-ahead, she'd be alive. I mean, yeah, it's true. They tried to keep them there. I guess they just thought maybe it had time to get through the area. So I'm saying, like, everything led them to that spot, which is insane. At the exact same spot the tornado was going to be. It's a matter of seconds. Yeah, I'm doing good. Doing good. I've actually had a pretty good day. It's just the Monday tired. That Monday tired. Not the dog. Hey, he went up to try to save the dog. Went up to try and save the dog.
He made an immense impact on everyone he came in contact with. His daughter Katie was the Lake High School class valedictorian. She was scheduled to speak at the commencement ceremony the following day. After crossing a railroad, the tornado would tear through the heart of Millbury, crossing Main Street where it attained winds in excess of 170 miles per hour, EF4 strength. Several newly constructed homes in this area would be flattened, with almost nothing but bare slabs remaining in some cases. One of these homes was the house of the Walters family. Here, 36-year-old Mary, 37-year-old Ryan, and 4-year-old Hayden all lost their lives.
R.I.P.
7-year-old Madison was also in the home, but lived. The family was beloved by many in the community and made friends everywhere they went. In fact, earlier that night, they were doing what they loved most.
Dude, that damage
eating
was
dinner
insane.
with friends and loved ones, enjoying the company of others. As the tornado continued moving eastward, additional homes on Hill Drive and Woodville Road would suffer similar degrees of damage. After this, the twister would begin to slowly weaken as it crossed North Fostoria Road into Ottawa County. EF4.
I'm sorry, I let King down there. That damage was wild. That's wild.
And EF3 damage would be documented in this area. Several homes would be completely destroyed, with others suffering extensive damage. As the tornado approached the town of Clay Center, it would abruptly lift as it reached the edge of the town's quarry, putting an end to a 9-mile path of destruction. While another EF2 would tear through the center of Dundee, Michigan a few hours later, the rest of the night remained largely quiet, bringing peace back to the disaster-riddled area. The tornado was roughly 400 yards wide at its largest and took the lives of 7 people, injuring many others, several of whom required hospitalization in neighboring Toledo. Damages from the twister were estimated to be in excess of $102 million. The tornado was also the deadliest and most destructive to strike northwestern Ohio in decades, and the deadliest to strike Ohio in general since 1985. While the destruction and loss...
Wait, wasn't the Xenia tornado there? In Ohio? Xenia, Ohio? I can't remember what year that was, though. It was an older tornado. Had to be up at 6 in the morning. Okay, Tommy, sounds good. Get you some sleep this time, my man. Get you some sleep this time. And thank you for the water spout video. 0.2 miles wide. Xenia was 1974. Yeah, I couldn't remember what year it was. Thank you, August. I appreciate you. Have a good one, Tommy.
Of life was immense. It easily could have been much worse if the National Weather Service hadn't done such a marvelous job warning those in the path.
I'm going to have to start streaming earlier just for my boy Tommy. I'm going to have an early stream. Hey, thank you, Tommy. I appreciate you.
With it being the middle of the night, and with the tornado shrouded in darkness, it was extremely hard to get visual confirmation of the twister. Yet, the Weather Service trusted what they were seeing on radar, and were therefore able to provide those in Millbury and surrounding communities with nearly 30 minutes of advanced warning before the twister struck, giving most in the town plenty of time to find shelter and ride out the storm. With the area police department destroyed and some of Lake Township's ambulances compromised during the storm, the area had to rely on the help of adjacent towns in the immediate aftermath of the storms. First responders from Perrysburg, Oregon, Toledo, and everywhere in between rushed into Millbury and Moline after the tornado to rescue survivors and treat those who were injured.
What do you mean by normal, August? What? Wait a minute. What do you mean by normal? Are you saying this is an abnormal stream?
Their assistance was paramount to the survival of many, and provided an essential service to a community when they needed it most. First responders and residents worked through the night. By sunrise, the full...
Wait. Was I muted there when I said all that about the normal stream? I wasn't muted, right?
Extent of what had happened became apparent. It looked like a war zone. Volunteers from around the area poured in to help rebuild. Though rebuilding was slow, in time much of the town would slowly be built back. This is well documented on Google Street View, where we can see before and after imagery for much of the tornado's path. A good example of this can actually be found near the intersection of Bradner Road and Cherry Street. As we can see here, this home has obviously been rebuilt within the span of just a few years. The former structure, which was comprised of a house as well as 2 garages, was completely destroyed during the twister. In 2011, it had mostly been rebuilt. Trees nearby look very odd, as you may notice. Looking at older imagery, you can see that it was previously a very thick forest that covered most of this area. However, now it's full of trees whose lower branches have obviously been destroyed by the twister, leading to a rather odd appearance. One of many good examples of just how
Hey, what's up, media? How are you doing today?
narrow the tornado was can be seen with this house right next door. Although it appears as if there were probably some sort of repairs following the tornado, it at least appears here on Google imagery that the house was largely untouched, with very little changing between the different years. While that house has been left mostly untouched, the wooded area in between it and the other destroyed house has now been reduced to basically an open field, while previously it was actually a rather heavily wooded area. Another area with very striking damage and very striking before and afters is around Case and Maryland Avenues here. If we go back, you can see that just like before, this area also had many trees, but after the tornado, most of them were completely gone, knocked down during the twister. Alongside the trees, this lovely house here was also completely destroyed by the tornado, and as of 2011 had yet to be rebuilt. Just an empty lot standing in its place. Even as we approach the present, this home has still yet to be rebuilt.
I would have
It has
probably
always
moved as
remained an
well.
empty lot, and nobody has elected to rebuild the house that formerly stood on it.
Living in your mom's basement might actually be a good thing. Hey, with the way this weather's been in South Dakota, yeah, 100%. And tornadoes are definitely one of them.
In 2007, just next door, we can see that this house used to be a small ranch-style home, also surrounded by trees. In 2011, the home had been completely rebuilt, now a 2-story house, but all the trees around it have been completely knocked down. Jumping down to Main Street, it's once again a similar story. This 2-story home in 2007 was completely destroyed by the tornado in 2010 and once again had been completely rebuilt, just a few years after. Next door, we find another well-taken-care-of family house.
You know, I'm kind of curious. How long does it normally take for people to get their homes rebuilt after a tornado? Because I would imagine, like if you live in Oklahoma or something, you probably have to have home insurance, right? Due to the frequency of tornadoes. And I wonder how long it takes for those insurance claims to go through to rebuild the homes. Has anyone ever experienced that or know anything about it?
Before the tornado, it was a tall 2-story home. Afterwards, it was reduced to rubble, and at the time of this imagery had yet to be rebuilt. Note the trees in the background. You can see where the core of the tornado went through. Also, a very good illustration of just how narrow it was. Lake High School has similarly been rebuilt. While passing through Millbury to record portions of this video, we passed by the school campus. The school looks new and modern. An oblivious passerby would have no idea of what transpired here if they didn't have any prior knowledge of the area. But, for those that call this place home, they will never forget. Just down the street from Lake High School is the Lake Township Administration Building, the structure that was built to replace the former police department. At this site is a memorial to the victims of the June 5th tornado. 7 pillars stand here in front of the structure, each recognizing someone who lost their lives on that fateful day. A plaque stands in front of them, with the names of the victims engraved on it, keeping their memories alive.
R.I.P.
Its base is made of bricks salvaged from the former police station, and it faces in the direction the tornado is moving. Part of the concrete walkway in front of the columns is triangle-shaped, dark gray in color to symbolize the tornado. The triangle is set at 65 degrees to represent the day the disaster happened. 6/5/2010.
Well, where's tornado insurance? It took my neighbors about 2 years or so to rebuild. Some neighbors took longer. Wow. Like, I don't expect, just to be able to, woof, there's a house. But at the same rate, like, that's a long time for your home to be destroyed. And, that's all your stuff where you used to sleep. Like, I wonder if the insurance companies help rehouse them temporarily until the home's rebuilt. I doubt it. That's expecting a lot from an insurance company. But, it'd be cool if they did. It'd be really cool if they did. Yeah, 2 years is, I guess you're building the home pretty quickly, but, rough for the people that live there.
Disasters like the one in Millbury are seldom remembered by those who didn't live through them firsthand. Everybody remembers the Joplins, the Moores, and the Geralds.
I'm back. I forgot I don't have to work tomorrow. Welcome back, Tommy. Welcome back. I'm glad you ain't got to work tomorrow, my man. What's up, Allhead? Hope you're doing well. Welcome in, welcome in. Don't you be staying up all night, Tommy. Don't think it helps with temporary housing. I think you're on your own. Dude. You know, with as much as you spend on insurance, like they're making billions, man. At least put them in like a cheap motel. You know? Sure you didn't call out again, Tom? Yeah, he called in sick. I can feel it. Tommy gave them a call and was like, hey. Not feeling good, bruh. Can't make it in today. I don't blame him.
But oftentimes the Millburys, the pitchers, and the oak fields fall through the cracks, left to be forgotten in the sands of time. This is why I feel it's important that the people of Millbury get their story told, so people can see what these communities have been through and what they've overcome. I also feel it's important to tell these stories so the memories of those who lost their lives can live on.
Okay, I don't remember what this one is. Bear with me for a second, okay? Does that not work? Okay, this one doesn't work. Never mind. We're good.
But I don't want these people to simply be turned into statistics. These were real people with lives of their own, personalities, stories, families, who just so happened to lose their lives in this tornado. Making content about disasters like this, it always feels like you're balancing on the edge of morality. I don't want our content to feel like it's taking advantage of these people whose lives have been lost, which is why for a while now I've tried to prioritize telling the stories of those who died, saying their names, informing you all about who they were, and most importantly, treating them like who they are, people. By doing this, it gives you, the viewers, a better idea of the gravity of these catastrophes, and it makes them feel real.
Amen, brother.
It allows those who watch the opportunity to put themselves into the situation, to visualize and to feel what it may have felt like for those who really did live through the tornado. Through this, we as humans can get a better understanding of the world around us, while learning something about ourselves and others. The people here in Millbury seem to have a better appreciation for life than most. When you've come so close to death and seen the level of destruction that comes with violent tornadoes firsthand, suddenly the minute things in our lives become amplified. We appreciate the finer things in life and wake up every morning just happy to be here. Sometimes you don't quite know what you've got until it's gone. And indeed, while Millbury has always been a tight-knit community, it was the complete destruction of their town that brought them entirely together. Like a single unit, they've marched forward into the future, building their town back better.
Hey, Tommy, that was your boss that just called? Wanting to know if you was really sick. Wants to know what your symptoms are for calling in. I'm going to need you to hurry up and tell me.
All while remembering those who were lost in the process. Caitlin Kranz, the 2010 valedictorian of Lake High School, and the daughter of Ted Kranz, walked across the stage at nearby Owens Community College to accept her high school diploma, just 3 days after the tornado took her father's life. Overcome by emotion, she began to cry, but was quickly met by a community member, willing to provide comfort for her in her time of need. Indeed, she represented the entire Lake Township community, all of whom gathered around their neighbors to help them get through the grief and process the disaster at hand. As of 2023, the Millbury tornado is the last violent tornado to occur within
It looks like your subscribers are growing. Nice. Yeah, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Some growth is better than none. It's been fun. It's been a fun experience. For sure. Been a very fun experience. He's got Naderitis. My goodness. Naderitis. Wait a minute. Just complete curiosity. I wonder if somebody's already come up with that. No. Okay. Hear me out. Look, it's going to sound so dumb, but I seen the word and it just... You know, like some content creators, they have like names for like their subscribers and stuff like that. If you know who Tim the Tat Man is, for instance, right? He has the Tat Man Army. I seen the word Naderite. The Naderites. Oh God. I can't react to scale tornadoes. This video is amazing. Oh, it was the scale of tornadoes. You got it, DJY. That's where progress happens. That's true, Logan. Very, very true. I know I've talked about it in the previous videos. Like, you know, these communities seem to really come together after stuff like this. And not just that community in general, but like surrounding areas that like come in and provide food, tools, resources, and all that to the people that are affected. It's absolutely wild. I'm going to try my best to stop using the word wild. It's my favorite one. Bring out the best in humanity. They really do. The cheaplings. Dude, it had Naderites. I've never in my life. What is a Naderite? It's a mineral with a chemical formula I ain't even going to know. It brownish yellow, or yellow in color, with a white streak. Okay, it's a mineral. You know, just for a good laugh, you guys are now Naderites. You know, I wonder if I can stream on Twitch and... Okay, I know I can stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time because I'm doing it right now. But I wonder if I can stream to YouTube at 1080 while streaming to Twitch at 720. I'm going to have to figure that out. Okay, what was the name of that video again? Let me look up here. The scale of tornadoes. Did I spell that correctly? I did. Look at me.
Tornadoes may...
All right, let's get this positioned here. Hail to the Naderites. Tornado Dookie. Oh God, I can't believe I even come across that word. The Naderites. I'm going to have to start watching other stuff. I'm going to lose it. The Scale of Tornadoes by Rojo Fern. I hope I said that correctly. I doubt it, but one can hope. And this was recommended by DJY.
May just be the most fascinating natural event on this planet. I mean, honestly, it's a cone that descends from an anvil with the sole intent of feasting on your personal residence without fear of legal recourse. These condensation snakes drop out of the sky, do a dance, and then vandalize anything from millions of dollars of cropland to a 723-foot tall skyscraper to simply a gopher's mountain, and then just vanish. It's difficult to wrap your head around something that powerful, something so energetic, something so large, simply dissolving like ink on a soiled piece of paper. But just how large exactly? I mean, we throw around ideas of high-base trunks and mile-wide wedges, but just what does a mile-wide wedge look like?
Big.
Well, this, sure. But what exactly is this? Just what is
A big tornado. That's what
the
that
scale
is.
of tornadoes?
This music kind of bangs, I ain't gonna lie. That's why they beat clouds. Logan. Condensation snakes? Dude, what? Some good old condensation snakes. That's gotta be a wild video. Come on, Tommy. Be honest with me, guys. Do I really use the word wild that much? I don't feel like I use the word wild that much. Maybe a bit. Yeah, it's a very large snake.
This is the May 22nd, 1981 Cordell, Oklahoma tornado. Seen here from a National Severe Storms Laboratory group.
Yo, look at that. That is a wild looking tornado. Look at that bend. At least you don't say that's crazy. I say that sometimes. Not very much though. I try not to because it seems like every reaction channel you watch, that's the number one thing they say is, that's crazy. And I know I say it sometimes, but I can get a little crazy with saying that's wild. '60s, '70s film vibes, it does.
At ground level. A relatively high-based F2 with a smooth and pronounced condensation funnel. It's a personal favorite of mine, and a good benchmark for scale. So, just how do we measure it? Well, there are a few metrics for tornadic size. The most prevalent of these is that of path width, or how far out from the vortex's center did tornadic winds
I just got
circulate.
flashbang.
Although not necessarily correlated with intensity, path width, as well as path length, rounds out the tornadic event parameters, along with damage done and estimated wind speed as categorized by the Fujita now enhanced Fujita scale, and semi-official Pearson scale. Finding these parameters for
Whoa.
historical tornadoes seems like a daunting task, yet is surprisingly easy, as mounds of data have been carefully archived by a number of databases such as Tornado Archive, Thomas Grant's Ulysses Tornado Project, and the NOAA Storm Event Database. Pulling from any one of these, and we can find that Cordell's maximum width was roughly 600 feet, or a little more than the height of the Washington Monument. Now, it should be noted that the profile of a tornado's base is usually not a perfect circle, and the center of the vortex can shift around within the base depending on the airflow conditions. However, for the purpose of simplicity in this comparison, circles with corresponding diameters will be used to represent tornadic width. Despite this impressive width, at 200 yards, Cordell actually sits below the average tornadic diameter of 328 yards. Around the 300 mark sits a sea of obscure tornadoes, not necessarily as unknown as the 10-yard wide F-Zero that knocked down Grandma Edna's favorite tree in southern Missouri back in 1970 whatever, but certainly overshadowed by their larger cousins.
I like this guy's humor.
That being said, the dead average group isn't without its team captains. Both the 1990 Albion, Illinois F4 and 2010 Campo, Colorado EF2 had widths of roughly 300 yards, the latter being arguably one of the most photogenic.
So most tornadoes are like 300 yards wide. Like, it doesn't sound big in the grand scheme of things, like when you compare it to like El Reno, you know, it sounds like, actually, it sounds relatively small. But when that's coming at you, 300 yards, like, wide, boom. That's terrifying.
Tornadoes in recent history. I know. Luckily for us, there is a second option. The lifting condensation level, or LCL, is an atmospheric parameter obtained from the data collected by radiosondes, the things attached to weather balloons. You know, the little boxes that pretty much have "This is not a bomb, don't freak out" written in big bold letters so your neighbor doesn't call in the local squad when it lands in his bird bath. LCL is the point at which a rising parcel of air's relative humidity reaches 100%, and if passed, said air parcel's water vapor content will begin to condense. Essentially, it's just the bottom of the clouds. Really no need to overthink it. Great. Wonderful. Where do we get LCL? Well, LCL is most often seen as a product on meteorological skew T-charts, the charts that are produced by radiosonde data. And lucky for us, just as with tornado data, there is an extensive archive of the skew Ts produced by pretty much every scheduled National Weather Service weather balloon launch since 1946. why something so niche is so readily available to the
Chinese weather balloon. Oh man, what was that going on? I kept seeing this image float. Supposedly there was like a Chinese spy balloon or something like that. And they had written on the side of it, "This is a weather balloon." Is it harmless because when it falls, it doesn't bug you on the head?
public is beyond me, but hey, it works in our favor. Taking a look at the balloon launch from central Oklahoma on the 22nd of May 1981, and we see that Cordell's height sat somewhere in the realm of
Yeah, Tip 2 in the
1,270
background.
meters, or 4,170 feet. Still pretty tall, about the same height as Mount St. Helens when measuring from base to peak,
Woo!
and very comparable to the host of other photogenic, high-base trunks and cones like Spearman, Texas 1990, or Dodge City, Kansas 2016. Nevertheless, this is still substantially shorter than Campo. Even large stovepipes like the 1979 Seymour and 1995 Dimmitt Texas tornadoes fail to match the raw altitude of the famed Colorado trunk. A similar trunk, the 1978 Osnabrock, North Dakota tornado, best known for its stunning life cycle photos captured by photographer Eddie Otto, comes close at about 1.02 miles tall. Although it too falls short.
Close.
When it comes to height, Campo, it seems, is pretty untouchable, and no tornado I've come across so far has been able to surpass it. Well, almost.
Excuse me. Brookfield, Wisconsin. Look at that thing, dude. Dude, it's insane at how tall they are. The height is crazy. Was it 1,760 yards is a mile?
So then, what about the opposite end of the spectrum? What are some comically short tornadoes? Well, this is a bit trickier to determine, as, again, path width so often overshadows that of height. So, small tornado records are usually awarded to those that are skinny rather than short.
Not the
They all
garbage
love
can.
that big tree, right? They're all proud of that one. They hate the crap out of the little one next to it.
Plus, tornadoes shorter than 500 meters are less likely to be nice, smooth, photogenic cones, and are more likely to look like this.
Look at this sorry, miserable squashed thing.
It's as if the mesocyclone said screw it and flattened the tornado so it could touch the ground instead. Tornadoes like this give the illusion of being 3-mile wide monsters, when in reality they are no wider than your classic wedge and are just ridiculously small. The shortest tornado on record was likely one of these
Things.
That isn't to say there aren't good examples of short yet photogenic tornadoes. One of my favorite examples is the famous 1997 Miami, Florida tornado / waterspout. The twister famously swept just north of the skyline before moving out over the Biscayne Bay where it would strike the MacArthur Causeway. Photos taken from high-rises show a surreal scene of a monstrous tube looming over the buildings. And it certainly is monstrous, especially when compared to Miami's then tallest building, the...
Well, yeah, the way I read that was Watchovia. Are you taking suggestions for future tornado reactions? Yes. Feel free to leave a suggestion or whatever. If I don't, cause this might be the last thing I react to because it's almost 8:30. But if you do add it in there, I will add it to my watch later, and we'll react to it eventually. Yeet. Meme version of tornadoes. Oh, Watchovia.
Oh, look at that. They went back to using their original name. Swell. At 764 feet, the Southeast Financial Center is just barely over half as tall as the Miami Twister.
Watchovia.
And this really brings out the size of the tornado. Until you take this dinky little office building away and put a real skyscraper in its place. When standing next to the Empire State Building, 1,480 feet begins to feel a little bit more tangible. And once you bring in super tall buildings, well, just forget it. Now, I'm talking relative here, of course. 1,500 feet is certainly tall.
Where can I put suggestions? The best place to do it is the Discord. I have a videos tab or a suggestions tab to where you can put those videos in there. Or you can put it in the comments here, and I will try my best to remember to type it in and add it into the watch later.
Compared to 6-foot-tall bipedal great apes. But in the world of tornadoes, it is downright puny. Another tornado that is surprisingly short touched down 2 years prior in the Texas Panhandle, the land of magical high-based wonders. This particular tornado is arguably the most famous of the 1995 season, and is responsible for still some of the most incredible tornado footage to date. This, of course, is the 1995 Pampa, Texas tornado.
Look at all that
This
debris.
violent F4 drill bit carved its way through the southern industrial sectors of the city, tossing cars and large chunks of structures hundreds of feet, before moving into the residential center and eventually dissipating. Despite the tornado's immense power, having effortlessly tossed aside 15-ton pieces of machinery, it was quite small. While the Pampa tornado's path
Data-oriented dynamics and setup. Yeah, I don't mind to watch some stuff like that for sure. 2003 Manchester F4 by June 1st. I got you.
width broke 200 yards. Its height was barely twice that at no more than 1,400 feet tall, even shorter than the Miami Twister. The same is true for the other tornadoes in the June 8th outbreak. Pampa was a triplet, sharing the panhandle with two other F4s that struck Kellerville and Allison, Texas to the east. Furthermore, the same supercell that birthed the Pampa Twister would drop another tornado near Hoover, Texas shortly after the death of the former. Although generally wider, all three of these tornadoes would have had similar heights to Pampa. Now, throughout the video so far, I've covered the sizes of various types of tornadoes, from your classic cone to your stout stovepipe. One group of tornadoes, however, has been noticeably absent, and purposefully. In a video about the sizes of various tornadoes, they're probably the ones you clicked on it for. You didn't come for dusty pipes or obscure tubes that just so happen to be twice the height of the Matterhorn. Nor did you want to see puny little vortexes that just so happen to be two of the most famous tornadoes of the 90s. No. I know what you came here for.
Photogenic tornadoes there, boys. Oh, yeah. Getting lit up in here. I like this video. It's got a comedy highlight. Yeah, it's a really entertaining video. Really entertaining video. He's got a good sense of humor for sure. I'm probably going to get DMCA'd out of my mind after that. Just for the record, if you go back and try to watch this stream, do not be surprised if large portions of audio are muted. Oh, everybody knows what that. I swear that this tornado is one of the most recognizable due to the horizontal vortices. It just sticks out like a sore thumb. Anytime I see a picture, I'm like, "Yep, there it is, Tuscaloosa." Well, I think I screwed up the link. Well, shucks. Oh wait, you might not be able to post a link. Yeet. I didn't think of that. If you can type in the title and the video maker. I'm sorry about that. If you'll type in the title of the video and then the creator of the video, I will look it up myself. I don't know how to fix the link thing. I don't know. Storms will be firing up closer to me. Tornadoes were on the ground in South Dakota. Now it's covering into a direction like Miss. Welcome back, Miss. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything just completely dodges you in general. The tornadoes in South Dakota have been really bad the past couple days. It's been rough. Well, we're just chilling and yapping. Nothing out of the ordinary, if you will. Jamming out a little bit.
So, I gotta be blunt with you. The entire reason this video was made stares you dead in the face like a fruit bat in a floodlight when you search for tornado size comparison on YouTube. What you find is a bottomless pit of videos so comically cookie cutter.
1989 Huntsville, Alabama tornado by Weatherbox Studios. I got you.
Half-assed that it even prompted Skip Talbot to respond. Other than misleading facts, a gross oversimplification of the enhanced Fujita scale, and the odd inclusion of tropical cyclones, the general trend with these videos is the use of set sprites or particle effects to represent tornadoes. The glaring issue with this is that as each tornado grows in width, it also grows in height, which of course is not correct in the slightest. I mean, just look at Joplin here. If we were to assume this tornado has the correct width of around 1 mile, a tornado of this stature would be in the realm of 5.5 miles tall. Yeah. So now that that's been established, let's look at the real sizes of some large wedges.
Hopefully the storms are not bad, Missa. On the bright side, though, you're being smart about it. You've already done some prepping. Stay safe. Be weather savvy.
There's many on the field, so let's start familiar. One of the most infamous large tornadoes in history is 1999's Bridge Creek Moore Monster F5. Only a handful of tornadoes can really rival this thing's reputation. With maximum recorded winds firmly above 300 miles per hour and maximum width of close to 1 mile, Bridge Creek 99 takes a page out of Twister's Guide to Being a Big Scary Son of a
It must be at least a mile wide.
It's the quintessential F5, and the brunt of its fury would be brought down upon large swaths of the southern Oklahoma City metro area, ultimately claiming 36 lives and dealing roughly $1 billion in damage. The May 3rd Twister is the pinnacle of a lineage of ghastly F5s that tore across the American Midwest and South throughout the 1990s. Although Bridge Creek is famous for its power and size, it is more often than not 1997's Gerald, Texas tornado of May 27th that is regarded as the
Gerald,
kind of damage
Texas.
done, having
Devil tornadoes bigger than anything we've ever seen. Dude, can you imagine being a dinosaur and just this massive wall coming at you? Scary business. Yeah, stay safe, Missa. Stay safe.
reduced the Double Creek Estates housing division to merely a flat plain of dirt. Gerald was an overall smaller tornado than Bridge Creek at around 3/4 of a mile, with a slightly taller condensation funnel at 800 meters to Bridge Creek's 700. Another famed funnel from the decade is 1991's Andover, Kansas tornado, notable for its extensive video coverage, as well as collaborating with the Iraqi government to impede America's aerial refueling capability. It failed. The F-5 would begin its life as a lanky trunk as it passed over McConnell Air Force Base before swelling into this quasi-wedge stovepipe thing as it entered Andover.
I eat dino nuggies. Why do people like the dino nuggies so much more than just a regular chicken nugget? Is it just like an aesthetic thing?
At roughly 1 kilometer in height, it was one of the taller F-5s of the decade. However, its less than half-mile width makes it smaller overall than both Gerald and Bridge Creek. After a substantial F5 drought in the early 2000s, the 2007 Greensburg, Kansas tornado would allow the National Weather Service a test run of the highest category on the new enhanced Vegeta scale. The Greensburg EF5, shrouded in darkness, plowed through the heart of the city as it swelled to a gigantic 1.7 mile wide width, practically as wide as the Golden Gate Bridge is long. At 1 kilometer in height, the massive wedge completely eclipses the similarly tall Andover Twister, being over 5.5 times wider. As the tornado touched down after dark, however,
Oswald, excuse me? I make the dino sounds when I eat the dino nuggies. Wait, King's actually got a... Oh, you're on Twitch. Oh, okay. I was confused for a second. King's on Twitch. He's actually got a dino nuggie emote. Oh, man. Sounds good, Olga. Hey, thank you for hanging out, dude. Get you some rest. I appreciate you.
glimpses of its immense silhouette were only visible through momentary flashes of lightning.
Hey, thanks again, August. You have a good night. Get you some rest. Gerald Hill was only a few yards wide. I think I've actually seen that video, Yeet.
Of course, massive size is not exclusive to the churning maelstroms that have turned EF5. And even as the years following 2007 saw one of the most EF5 heavy periods since the mid to late 1970s, the twisters that settled for EF3 and EF4 continuously outdid them.
Yo, Greensburg was 1.7 miles wide. I didn't know it was that big. Like, I knew it was like a mile. I thought it was a mile wide. Whenever it pretty much engulfed the entire Greensburg community. I had no idea it was this large. I also faked the extinction with Cocoa Puffs, dude. King, how you doing over there, dude? You staying safe? Music is super weird. I feel like I could take narcotics. It was wider than the entire town. Yeah, I didn't know it was this big though. That's crazy. Swallowed the entire city, dude. I remember it engulfing the entire city. Man, it's hard to fathom a tornado being nearly 2 miles wide.
And then we come to late May of 2013. On May 20th,
we all know what
years
it
after
is.
The May 3rd tornado, another strong EF5 would slam into southern Oklahoma City through Newcastle and more. Although it had nearly 100 miles per hour slower winds than the Maxi 302 of the 99 twister, it was slightly larger at 1.3 miles in width and 750 meters in height. Keeping with the trend, though, 11 days later, on the 31st, another monster would reach for the Earth. At this point, the 2013 El Reno, Oklahoma tornado needs no introduction. Its titanic 2.6 mile width has been superimposed over Central Park by so many media outlets so many times, it's become redundant. So I won't show you that. Instead,
wow,
here it is superimposed over Central Park in 3D.
Dude, El Reno was just massive. An absolutely massive tornado. It still always cracks me up because it was the first ever video I reacted to of a tornado. Just so happened to be the largest one. Greensburg was over 2 miles wide. Winfield was over 2 miles wide, not the actual funnel. So, wait. It was 1.7 miles wide, but its wind field extended beyond 2 miles. Either way, though, it's insane. 95% destroyed, 5% severely damaged. So the whole town was toast. It almost got hit again earlier this year as well. I remember everybody talking about that. And what was crazy is before that happened, I was talking about how unlucky it's got to be for a town like, imagine a small town like Greensburg out in the middle of Kansas. And a tornado, almost the size of your town, just so happens to go perfectly over top of your town. And I was like, that's just something that'll never happen again. And then it almost happens again. So I'm just going to have to be quiet. Makes me think of playing a Sega Genesis game. Wrong, apparently. 1.7 miles wide, then plus the wind field going beyond 2 miles is still crazy. And again at night, dude, move out of Greensburg.
El Reno is a difficult beast to properly visualize, and I believe at least in part this is due to the tornado's appearance. Unlike other large wedges, for all of El Reno's life, the twister was either obscured by rain or displayed a partial condensation funnel not representative of the tornado's true size.
I visualize El Reno like this. Imagine all the tornadoes in, what is it called, Grand Island? Remember when they got hit with they had 9 tornadoes on the ground at once? Imagine that all in one. That's what I imagine El Reno, but they're all super strong. Yeah, that still baffles me. That some of these Rainsville's a very good talking point. Strong tornadoes that strong just completely overlooked for days. But once after you kind of learn about the 2011 outbreak, everywhere was just getting hammered. Everywhere got hammered.
The large suction vortices orbiting within the tornado don't make the picture any clearer. Exaggerating the debris field gives us a better picture of the tornado's size when comparing it to the likes of Pampa, Dodge City,
wow,
Dimmitt, Jarrell, Greensburg, and its little brother. Although El Reno is the current king of size, it's difficult to talk about it without mentioning the previous record holder, the far lesser known 2004 Hallam, Nebraska tornado. Although dethroned, Hallam in many respects is still more impressive than El Reno. For start,
you watch your mouth, Rojo. I know that morning round took out a lot of power, but the afternoon round just did a sin. I had no power for a week straight. Dude, that had to suck. It's crazy. To even go without electricity for one day, it sucks so bad. A whole week would just be miserable.
At 2.5 miles wide, Hallam is a mere 528 feet slimmer than El Reno, a distance less than 1.5 football fields. At 1 kilometer tall, Hallam is taller, with a slightly larger overall volume inside the funnel, ultimately giving it a more commanding silhouette. Hallam's condensation funnel was significantly more mature, with near complete condensation coverage within the wind field. Hallam was also on the ground longer, with a path length of 54 miles to El Reno's 16. And although not necessarily representative of the tornadoes themselves, Hallam did achieve an F4 rating, whereas El Reno was downgraded to EF3. I will admit though that this is a bit of a reach, as the Fujita and EF scales are not directly comparable, and the maximum recorded wind speeds of 296 miles per hour of El Reno are significantly higher than Hallam's estimated 200. At the end of the day, though, most of this is just trivial information. I mean, there's a reason meteorologists and structural engineers spend hours analyzing damage and estimated wind speed instead of huddling around a desk to see what the 1979 Gove County, Kansas tornado looks like next to the Transamerica Pyramid.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
You'd have to be quite the nerd to do that. Since 2013, there have been thousands more tornadoes. Most small, some big, and a couple that are really big. And prior to 2013, there are thousands upon thousands more. But considering I've put you through a good 30 minutes of this already, I think I'll leave their stories for another day. Although, hopefully now, after either wasting an afternoon...
Hey, that was a good video. DJY, thank you for the recommendation here. Great video. Rojo Fern. If you guys ever want to check him out, I'm sure he's got a lot more videos. That video there was great. Good sense of humor. We went to Tennessee to get gas for cars, not generators. We use candlelight. Fair enough. That's why I always keep like flashlights, extra batteries, some candles. You never know. How do I do this here? Can I use my brain? King, I will plug this into Twitch. And then we'll come over here and we'll also plug a link to that video in the YouTube chat as well. That way, if you guys want to watch it, that is available. And check out his channel as well. I'm sure he's got several more entertaining videos. You know, let's go ahead and look. The fact that he's only got 37,000 subscribers blows my mind. Yeah, maybe he covers a wide variety of topics. Oh, yeah. Thanks anytime, DJY. I appreciate you. That's a really, really good video. Thank you for recommending that again. Great video. Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah, I gotta check something out real quick. Look at this. Did I screw that up? No. Okay. Switch. Go to here. So after 47 votes, the horror games is actually pulling away. I actually like horror games, and Red Dead Redemption 2 were neck and neck for the longest time. Is that good? Can you guys see that? That may be really hard for you all to read. Anyways, I made a poll for what games to play on the gaming channel. Or, you know, to stream here and then upload on the gaming channel. And it was like neck and neck. But horror games has finally pulled ahead. So I'll probably do a couple more horror games. Then maybe start doing the Red Dead Redemption 2 and kind of intertwine them a little bit. We will see. Have you seen the synchronized video of the 2013 Moore tornado made by Tornado Forensics? No, I have not. I have not. I don't think so. my mind does slip from time to time. Would you be willing to do MMA reactions? Yeah, for sure. Have to be a little careful with some of that because the UFC are very, very strict on copyright. Super strict. That doesn't mean we can't do it. I just had to look into it and make sure I'm not going to get in trouble with YouTube. YouTube sometimes, they'll right in the mouth. I'm going to paste this in here too. That is my gaming channel. I uploaded my first video like a day or two ago. And I plan on doing more on the streaming end with that, as well as obviously uploading more videos on there. If you're into that kind of stuff. If not, that's perfectly fine. A lot of Pride. Yeah. Pride has some really good fighters, man. And DJY, I will actually look that video up and get it saved to my watch later. 100%. Is that all the video reactions for this stream? Not rushing, just curious. Yes, I'm actually fixing to call it quits. It's almost 9 p.m. Hopefully here soon I can do a longer stream. But 3 hours, it'll do for now. From the Emelianenko brothers, dude, those two, tough as they come. Fedor, arguably one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. Okay, guys. I'm gonna actually call it there. I actually went longer than I thought I would. I had plans on 2 hours, and it turned into over 3. Thank you all for the recommendations. You guys, hey, DJY, that was one of the best videos I've watched in a long time. Thank you again. Yes, also, I got to remember to put that one down, the Manchester F4 2003. I got you, hothead. All right, once again, hey, thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll be live again tomorrow. I can't swear to it. If I do, it might be a little later. But I'm not going to promise. I'm not going to promise anything. Do you still get to see the stream chat after you finish? I do, Yeet. I do. Tommy, Logan, Yeet, Hothead. I'm not going to say all the names. Everybody. Thank you all for hanging out. Hopefully we'll catch you tomorrow. If not, maybe in a few days. You guys have a safe night. See you, Laura. I appreciate you. All right.